Hi friends, welcome to my channel Mana Lectures. In the previous lecture, we discuss introduction to the satellite communication. In today's lecture, we discuss history of satellite communication. Before going to the history of satellite communication, first we need to discuss some topics. Though what are those? Are here in the previous lecture we discussed here there is earth and a satellite revolves around the earth in a circular orbit. um, Up to now this thing we discussed in the previous lecture. In today's lecture we extend who proposed this thing. These satellite revolves around the earth, and he also said that some conditions to revolve around the earth, the satellite to revolve around the earth, because of after that only we achieve the full performance of the satellite. Because if we consider the satellite does not revolve in a particular orbit with a particular momentum or velocity, it does not give perfect output to us. So there is some conditions. What are those conditions? We'll discuss and then go with history of satellite. For that, firstly, this in this lecture we will discuss only the important or major effect of satellite communication. Satellites only discuss, not all the satellites are we will discuss in this lecture. So going to the concept, first of all, the idea of synchronous orbiting satellite capable of relaying communication to and from the earth is generally attributed to other. See Clerk here. Here is the other first one who proposed this synchronized orbiting satellite is Arthur C. Clarke. Clarke observed in his classic 1945 paper that a satellite in a circular equatorial orbit with a radius of 23,000 miles, which is in kilometers, 42,000 kilometers, would have an angular velocity matching that of the earth, that would remain above the same spot on the earth's surface. He mentioned the satellite would revolve around the earth, as he mentioned, it would appears as remain above the same spot on the earth's surface, remains above the same spot on the earth's surface if we see the object. Why? Because the earth revolves around the sun and revolves around itself also. For that, if earth revolves around itself, then the satellites also need to revolve with the synchronizing of earth and satellite, with the earth and satellite. If the point A, consider A, point B, C, for example, we consider this point. The satellite is, if we place a satellite into the orbit at these positions, A seeing the satellite, then after some time the satellite need to be see A at that point only, or the person A need to see the satellite in that position without any change in the distance, is the first and most necessary condition. Otherwise, if the satellite does not require maintain this condition, the satellite, if it will go come up to this point, after some time the point A is in here, then there is a delay, or there is some conditions, some problems are also there to achieve the good communication problems. And what are those drawbacks, and what are these conditions also we will discuss in the further classes. Up to now we will discuss only we need to maintain some conditions for a satellite to revolve around the earth. What are those? Are earth revolves around the earth with a radius of 23,000 miles, or 42,000 kilometers, with the angular velocity matching that of the earth. Means the velocity of the satellite is equal to the velocity of the earth rotating itself. We need to maintain that much of velocity of the satellite, and it will if any time we see about the satellite, it would remain above the same spot on the earth surface. It is the conditions. Then this orbiting artificial satellite could therefore receive and transmit signals from anywhere on the earth in view of the satellite to any other place on the surface in view of the satellite. If we maintain these conditions correctly, perfectly, then we will get these result. We can transmit anytime, we transmit and receive the signals from earth on any stations to any station. These are the benefits we get if we maintain these conditions. And for that, and in that he proposed the conditions in 1945, but in that time the technology to verify this concept was unable until over a decade. He proposed these conditions, but also there is that much of technology development is not there. So after a decade, Sputnik 1 was introduced and launched to verify this concept also. The technology to verify this concept was not available over a decade, as we see. With the launch in 1957 of Sputnik 1 by the former USSR, who launched this first satellite into the earth, into the space, is USSR, former USSR, in 1957. This launch ushered in the space age, and both the United States and the USSR, it will gives a major impact in the satellite communication. Firstly, ushered means gain in the space age. Both the popular in the United States and USSR began robust space program to develop the technology and to apply it in emerging applications. Gain importance by the in this time of in the and from that USSR began some more space programs, and it will develop the technology to apply it to the emerging applications. What are the emerging needs we can achieve from these projects? Are they are the listen and they do experiments on these things. After the Sputnik 1, there is some other topic, other satellites are also launched related to Sputnik 2. We are discussing only major, and the 2 means, as you know, here 1 is some drawbacks. Everything has some drawbacks and advantages. To overcome those drawbacks, we launched the Sputnik 2 to overcome those drawbacks, and then after the another one to overcome those drawbacks. After that Sputnik 1, we launched SCORE. What is the full meaning of SCORE, or full form of SCORE? SCORE means signal communicating by orbiting relay equipment. By artificial satellite. It is the first communication by artificial was accomplished by SCORE, means launched by the Air Force into a lower orbit in December 1958. 100 by 800 nautical miles. It was launched in 1958. What is the satellite name? Signal communicating by orbiting relay equipment. Who launched the force? Launched the and into lower orbit, low orbit only. RAID, a recorded voice message. Here in the SCORE, we say we put a recorded message into the satellite on a delayed basis from the earth station to another. Means we so furtherly see, SCORE broadcasts a message from the president in Sir Hoare to stations around the world, giving the first hint to the of the impact to that satellites would have on point to point communication. From this experiment, what we learn is from this experiment we get main point is we can transmit the messages, we transmit the message, audio message to different earth stations, to different earth stations. That is a one major advantage from this launch. And we also confirm that here by satellite communication also we can achieve point to point communication. This is the impact points from this experiment also. And the maximum message was length was, though the message was, what was the message is president, former president Eisenhower message recorded the 4 minutes message, and sent it to the different, and sent it to the earth stations, from one earth station to another earth stations, different earth stations in the world. And the relay operated on the bandwidth frequency is 150 megahertz uplink frequency and 108 megahertz downlink frequency. In the previous lecture we discussed what is uplink and what is downlink frequencies also. There is some more topics related to this also, we'll discuss furtherly. Score powered by battery only. Here in those time, the sats operate on means battery. It score operates for 12 days before its battery failed. Before the battery fail, 12 days before it will operate and decayed out of orbit. Before 12 days, battery, the sat was decayed out of orbit. It would become disappear from the orbit. It disappear from the orbit. Here after Echo, there is a next one satellite is Echo. Here Echo is a series of Echoes, Echo satellite launch, Echo 1 and Echo 2. Why we need Echo 2 after Echo 1 is to overcome the drawbacks in Echo 1, we launch another satellite with overcome of Echo 1 drawbacks. That's why we start Echo 2. In some cases of satellites, there is a 3, 4, 5 and 6 series also there, we see in later. To overcome the drawbacks in first launch, we launch another satellite with the same name. Here Echo 1 is a evaluate launch relay by passive techniques initiated with the Echo satellites 1 and 2. Here these are the satellites are firstly launched with passive satellites, passive technique of satellites. These are the first techniques, first satellite launched by passive technique. Before the Echo techniques, we are all launched with the active techniques only. Echo 1 was launched by Echo was launched by the NASA, which is National Aeronautics and Space Administration, in 1960, and Echo 2 was launched in 1964. Echo satellites were large orbiting sphere of unluminized mailer over 100 feet in diameter, which served as passive reflectors for signal transmitting from the signal on the earth. As you can see in the picture, these are with a high diameter, with a large diameter which is up to 100 feet of diameter, and covered with aluminized mailer, which is used for the reflection of signals from the transmitter to the receiver. These will act more efficient in the time of technology. Next one is they caught the interest of public. They caught the interest of public also because they can, these satellites are visible from the earth surface also. So if people are also interested what is this and how they will work and why it is useful, and people also interested in satellites. At sunset and sun rising time of particular times, these Echo satellites are visible from the earth also. Next one, the echo relays operated at frequency 162 MHz to 2390 MHz and requires and these require very large ground terminals, base stations, which is of up to 10 kilometer, 60 feet, 60 feet. 60 feet the height, and 10 kilowatt power is required to operate these base stations in the ground. Echo 1 remained in orbit for nearly 8 years, and Echo 2 for over 5 years. These satellites are operated. After Echo, we launched Courier. We launched Courier, which is launched by which is launched in 1960 October. Courier extended version of SCORE we discussed in earlier. SCORE is a technology repeated technology and investigated to store and forward and real-time capabilities. In the SCORE, we only transmit the signal of recorded message of 4 minutes length of recorded message, but in Courier we improve the technology as a store and forward with real time capabilities in lower earth orbit satellite, which is lower earth satellite orbit. Courier operated with a uplink frequency of 1.8 to 1.9 gigahertz and downlink frequency of 1.7 to 1.8 gigahertz. The Courier is full of solid state. It is full of solid state, except the 2 watt the 2 watt output power. All the material was solid in state. It is the first solar panel solid satellite. Up to Courier, all the satellites works on the battery, but in Courier, from Courier we place solar cells, employ solar cells for power to observe the radiation or light from the sun, and to convert the solar energy into electrical or any mechanical energy. We use these satellites, we perform the operations, particular operations in Courier. The satellite performed successfully for 17 days until a command system failure. This Courier operated for only 17 days. Due to some command system failure, the operations were ended. After Courier, we launched Westford. Westford is the second technology employed to evaluate communication by relay by passive techniques. Here, this is also another passive technique satellite, which is the last passive technique employed in satellites. It was with the first successful, which is the first successful launch of US Army in 1963 May. In 1963 May, Westford consists of tiny copper dipoles. Copper dipoles dispersed in orbital belt. In these belts are launched into the orbit, and by these dispersed dipoles, the reflection was occurred. The dipole size was half wavelength of the relay frequency of wavelength of the relay frequency 8350. Relay, there is a relay which is half of the 8350 megahertz. Voice and frequency shift. Here digital signal transmission also done up to 20 kilobits per seconds data rate were successfully transmitted from ground station in California to Massachusetts. First ground station voice and frequency transmissions was done in ground station in California to Massachusetts. As a belt dispersed, as the belt was dispersing, the capacity of link capacity dropped to below 100 bps. The rapid development of active satellites. Here in this particular era of time, the scientists are all of them mostly interested in active satellites, not in passive satellites. So the decrease in the passive satellites, hence Echo is the and Westward brought passive technology experiments to an end. These are the mostly last experiments done by passive techniques. Next one is Telstar. The Telstar satellite 1 and 2, here it was also Telstar 1, 2, and Telstar 1 was in Telstar 1 in launched by NASA in 1962, and Telstar 2 was launched by in 1963. This is the first wideband communication satellites, active wideband communication satellites. By these satellites we achieve the analog FM communications, FM signals, 550 megahertz bandwidth, and operated at frequency of 6.4 gigahertz uplink, 4.2 megahertz on the downlink. These frequencies led the way C-band communication, which is the most used currently or major portion of the fixed service satellites, which is the C-band services. Means we learn in the cellular communication, which is mobile communication band frequencies range. Telstar 1 provided multi-channel telephone, telegraph, facsimile, and television transmission to stations in the United States, Britain, and France. To these communication was done in these states, United States, Britain, and France. These countries. Telstar 1. After command system failure in 1962, due to there is a command, the Telstar 1 was failed in 1962 due to Van Allen belt radiation. Van Allen belt variation. To overcome this drawback, Telstar 2 was launched with the design of radiation resistant transistor to overcome the Van Allen belt radiation. Launched into higher orbit. Here Telstar 1 was launched into lower orbit to decrease by higher orbit to decrease exposure in the Van Allen belts. Operated successfully for 2 years. It will operate for 2 years successfully. And next one we launched relay 1 and relay 2 also. There is a relay series also 1 and 2. Relay developed by RCA for NASA was launched in 1962 December and operated for 14 months only. Here relay 1 operated for 14 months and relay 2 also operated for 14 months only. Relay had two redundant repeaters. This has two repeaters with each one is a 25 megahertz channel and the other one is a 2 megahertz channel. It operated at 1725 megahertz uplink, 4160 megahertz downlink frequencies, and it also have a 10 watt TWT output amplifier, which is traveling wave tube output amplifier. Extensively telephony and network television transmissions were accomplished between the by using relay. We achieve telephony and network television transmissions between United States, Europe, and Japan, which it is about relay 1. And after relay 2 was launched in January 1964 and this also operated for 14 months. The relay and Telstar program demonstrated that reliable routine communication could be accomplished from orbiting satellites. Means what are the routine communication we achieve in the ground wave or sky wave or wired connection. We also achieve these that type of communication by satellite also, which is relay and Telstar demonstrate that much of reliability also, and further indicated that satellite system could share frequencies with terrestrial. Here satellite systems also share frequencies with the terrestrial system without interference and degradation of signals also. This is about relay. And next one is SYNCOM. SYNCOM satellites was the first communication for synchronous satellites. As we discussed, synchronous means always it will remains the same at that point, which is if in simple manner the velocity of the satellite and the velocity of the earth is to be same, then the satellite is synchronous with the earth. This was developed by USS Aircraft Company for NASA GSFC. Next one Syncom, but Syncom was failed at the launching time only, at the launching. But so Syncom 2 and 3 were placed on orbit in 1963 and 1964 respectively. Syncom with 7.4 GHz uplink and 1.8 GHz downlink frequencies, and it also employed 500 kHz channel for two-way communication, two-way narrow band communication, and one 5 megahertz channel for one-way wideband transmissions. As we see, Syncom was the first tested for the development of station keeping and orbital control principles for synchronous satellites. This is the first satellite. Next, it was the first satellite to employ range and range tracking satellite. This is it also the first satellite in employing the range and range tracking systems. NASA conducted voice, telephony, and fast missile, including extensive public demonstration. Extensive public demonstrations also was conducted by this Syncom on this Syncom satellite. The US Department of Defense also conducted tests using Syncom 2 and 3, including transmission with a shipboard terminals are operated with VHF command territory links. This is about the Syncom. Next one is Early Bird. Early Bird is the first commercial operation synchronous communication satellite. It is similar to the Syncom design. It is similar to the Syncom design. It was developed by Early Bird, later ComSat for Intellisat. Firstly called as Early Bird and then later called it as Intellisat 1, which is 1, launched by NASA in April 1965. The first communication subsystem. It is the first communication subsystem. Very similar to Syncom 3 design, had 25 MHz transponder and operated at C-band with uplink frequencies of 6.3 GHz and downlink frequency of 4.1 GHz. It had a capacity of 240 two-way voice circuits or one two-way television circuit. It has a TWT, transmitter wave tube. Output power was 6 watts only. In the previous case we discussed it was a 10 watt power, 10 kilowatt power, but here it is 6 watt power. Operations between the US and Europe region began on June 28. So this is the birth date of the commercial satellite communication. Commercial satellite. What is the birth date of commercial satellite communication? Which is June 28, 1965 is the birth date of commercial satellite communication. Early Bird remained in the service until August 1969. After that, the bird was replaced by the Intellisat 3 generation, later generation of Intellisat 3 satellite. Next one is application technology satellites. Applications technology satellite 1, which is simply ATS-1. The ATS-1 was first of highly successful series application technology satellite. Up to now we see Echo 1, Echo 2, Telstar 1, Telstar 2, Relay 1, Relay 2, and these are the different series of satellites. But out of all these satellites series, ATS is the most successful application technology satellites, launched by NASA in December 1966 and demonstrated for long lists of firsts in satellite. With the satellite we introduce more number of first introducing the technologies also. ATS was included with electronically desperm antenna and 18 dB gain and 17 degree beam width also introduced with ATS-1. It operated at C-band of 6.3 GHz of uplink and 4.1 GHz of downlink with 225 MHz repeaters. ATS provided the first multiple access communication from synchronous orbit. ATS-1 and had VHF links for the evaluation of air to ground communication via satellite. Air to ground communication also evaluated by the ATS-1 through satellite. ATS-1 was the first provided with the first camera, high resolution camera, first photo of the full earth orbit. Also it provides the first full earth full photo of earth from the orbit is clicked by ATS-1 satellite. ATS-1 satellite was a successful operations well beyond its design. Beyond the 3 years design, it was successfully operated in VHF communications to the Pacific Basin region until 1985. Then the control was lost. After that, we launched ATS-3 satellite also. Before ATS-2 also launched, ATS-3 is one of the major. Then ATS-3 was launched in 1967 November. It is the extension of ATS-1 and 2. It also operated at C band and VHF bands. It multiple access communication and orbital control techniques. This in this technology, in this satellite, we also included cross trap operation at C bands and VHF. The signal frequency signal received at VHF could be transmitted to the ground at C band also. ATS-3 provided the first color high resolution picture, but in ATS-1, which is first high resolution picture was clicked from the orbit, but here color picture also orbit clicked from ATS-3. Now familiar, we all know that that picture was blue marble earth as seen from the synchronous bit, earth picture from the satellite from the space, which is seen like a blue marble. ATS-3 like ATS-1, as we know, far exceeded its designs and providing VHF communication to the Pacific and continental United States for public services application for over a decade. It operated for over a decade. Next, ATS-5 was launched. It also C-band communications is similar to its predecessors but did not have VHF capability. Instead of that, it have I-band communication, 1650 MHz uplink and 1550 MHz downlink. Investigated air to ground communication for navigation and air traffic controls. The technology was implemented. ATS also 5 also contained a millimeter wave experiment. Some experiments are done with these and operated at 31.65 GHz and 15.3 GHz frequencies, designed to provide propagation data on the effect of atmosphere. Also experiment done for satellite propagation. In satellite propagation there is effect of atmosphere on that or not. Experiments, some of the experiments also related experiments also done with ATS-5 satellite. ATS-5 designed to operate as a gravity gradient stabilized satellite. Before the gravity stabilized satellite, we used spin stabilized satellites in ATS-1 and ATS-3 satellites. It was successfully launched in August 1969 into synchronous orbit, but the gravity stabilization boom could not deployed because of the satellite spin condition. Here the gravity gradient stabilization was implemented, designed, but it was not successfully operated to the predicted amount. So it due to some satellite spin conditions, it is not much successful. It is limited successful in all the cases of this unexpected pulse operation mode, due to this unexpected pulse operated mode. Next one is ATS-6 was launched, which is the second generation of NASA's application technology. Mostly this from this satellite we have more applications also. Provide major advancements in communication satellite technology in new applications demonstration. What are those are? First one, position, location and aircraft communication experiment. Next, satellite instructional television experiment. Next one, televisions relay using small antennas terminals. health education experiment, radio frequency interference experiments, and so many of these technologies were increased from satellite to satellite. This is the history of the satellite communication majorly or briefly we discuss in this lecture. In after in the next lecture we discuss some basics of some basic communications of satellite communication system. And up to now, thanks for watching the video and please subscribe to Mana Lectures.